With my morning chore, feeding the cats completed, I cozy into my favorite chair by the fire to read one of my new Nancy Drew mysteries. Mother is in the kitchen putting up breakfast dishes as I hear her asking, "Dottie Lou, was Ginger with the other yard cats when you fed them in the garage?" I don't think I saw her, but she will probably show up later. I left the door open so she could get inside. Before the last words were out of my mouth, Mother was walking into the living room with that look in her eyes that could only mean one thing. For whatever reason, I was in trouble. "Dottie Lou, you know Ginger is expecting kittens. I cannot believe you did not make certain she was with the other cats. Get out of that chair, put on your hat, coat, and gloves. We're going to look for her now." When my mother speaks, I listen. She is a strict disciplinarian, and she has set parameters she believes her children should obey. And one of those is never to be disrespectful of her authority. Almost before Mother could find her coat, I was standing ready at the back door, praying for the angels to help us find Ginger so I would not get the whipping of my lifetime. During the night, an ice storm had blanketed the Ozarks, and the plains are so heavily laden with ice, they are snapping and falling to the ground. As I follow Mother down the slippery trail to the barn, I am feeling that big wad of guilt that grows inside your stomach when you know you've done something mighty wrong. Oh, please, God, let Ginger be okay. Sliding the barn door open is really difficult because it is coated with a thin sheet of ice, but we inch it open enough to slide sideways into the dark barn. Mother lights the kerosene lantern hooked over one of the beams, which causes the white leghorn hens to start cackling from their wooden nest nailed to the side of the barn. The pungent smell of the hay, along with the soft mooing of Jude, the Jersey milk cow, makes me hopeful that perhaps we will find Ginger hidden in that oh so very cold barn. It is so dark in the barn, not only because of the gray day, but Dad had shut both doors and windows, attempting to keep out the cold wind. Mother begins calling, "Ginger, here, kitty, kitty." I am on Mother's heels as we walk through the dark barn, and then we hear, "Meow, meow." Mother walks into an empty stall, and there, scrunched up under a mound of hay, is Ginger and her babies. Mother hands me the lantern as she kneels, and she begins shushing Ginger as she is trying to see the babies. "Dottie Lou, take the lantern and go to the feed bin and bring me a bucket." When I return, Mother takes the lantern, shining it on Ginger and her babies. And it is then that I see tears are streaming down my mother's face. I am shocked and scared because my mother never cries. "Dottie Lou, Ginger has 5 baby kittens and they're frozen stiff. We're going to do what we can do to save them." I stand speechless as I watch Mother fill the bucket with hay and carefully places the 5 kittens deep inside. "Dottie Lou, pick up Ginger and follow me." "Mother, what are we going to do?" No answer except, "Hurry and do what I told you to do." We troop back through the icy grass, Mother carrying the bucket of frozen kittens and me attempting to control Ginger from jumping out of my arms. Entering the garage, Mother says to put Ginger in the wire cage and bring her some warm milk. I do as Mother says without any questioning. Walking into the kitchen, I see that Mother has set the bucket of kittens on top of the cabinet and is looking underneath where she keeps her pans. Bringing out a long pan which she uses to bake biscuits, she then folds several flour sack dish towels into the pan and proceeds to place the 5 frozen kittens inside the pan, lining them up as if she were going to bake them. Then she covers them with another soft towel, leaving only their tiny heads sticking out. Then, to my horror, I watch as she places the pan of kittens onto onto the top rack of the oven and is turning on the gas oven to its lowest temperature setting. Leaving the oven door open, she stands guard watching as if she's just baking cookies. Sick to my stomach over the whole ordeal, I lay my head on the table, praying for the kittens as well as Mother, who I know has gone completely crap up. Of course, I dare not say one word. I knew even when I was a tiny baby, my brain was wired differently from this woman named Jessie Kay, who was my mother. She has continuously been a challenge for such a free spirit as I am. Many times, Mother has said when the stork delivered me, he must have been in a hurry, for he had left the wrong baby at the wrong house. I should have been delivered 2 blocks over to Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall is a prissy woman, and compliments roll off her tongue like marbles from a jar. Mother is just the opposite. She is a no-frill woman, and she never gushes over anything. So, I just sit and think, and I wait for the kittens to bake. But I can feel myself stewing in anger juices, and I am trying to wipe this terrible day from my mind. I am also wondering if I will ever forgive my mother for this terrible action. Just as I am about to work myself up into a wall-eyed hissy fit, I hear, and looking up, I see Mother has taken the baby kittens from the oven and is tenderly caressing each one, making certain all have returned to the land of the living. I feel chills running up and down my neck as I watch those 5 baby kittens with eyes shut tight, stretching up their necks looking for their mother's teats. Turning her attention to me, Mother says, "Dottie Lou, go look in the hall closet. Get a cardboard box and snuggle a feather pillow inside." Bringing it back, I watch as Mother carefully wraps each tiny kitten into a soft cloth and places them into the deep box. Dottie Lou, bring Ginger to her babies. No sooner had I gotten into the kitchen with Ginger than out of my arms she jumps, racing to her babies. And she jumps into the box where Mother helps her get next to those sweet little kittens. And then she begins licking and counting everyone. Mother picks up the box, and I promise you, I see the eyes of 2 mothers connecting and sharing an indescribable gratitude. Without expressing any elation, Mother carries the box into the living room, placing it next to the warmth of the fireplace, much unlike the environment where they had been earlier in the day. Wiping her hands on her apron, Mother goes into the kitchen, and I hear her opening the refrigerator to begin cooking lunch. Kneeling beside the box of the miracle kittens while watching Ginger loving each one, I think how often I have wished my mother were softer, not so stern. Maybe more like Miss Hall. Yet today, I saw compassion that I had heard about in Sunday school. And perchance today, I didn't just read about a miracle, I had seen one. Walking into the kitchen, where Mom is standing in front of the stove, cooking lunch for her 5 children and her husband, I put my arms around her, and I just hold her for a few minutes. She just continues cooking the pork chops and says, "Dottie Lou, set the table. Lunch is almost ready." And so I do. But I know